I can smoke a blunt on stage during prom night. Yes, that is Riff Raff right there with Peter Jackson, and we got him on the phone right now. What's good, bro?
Not too much, brother. You good?
Good, I'm good, man. It is Christmas Eve.
I know, I like this. I love this time of the year, brother.
It's big, man. Yeah, no, I see your post. You got, you like it's like a Christmas movie in this place right now. Got all the stockings up and nice Christmas tree and everything.
Yeah, I find myself just going to places like that. You know what I mean?
Getting in the spirit. That's good.
Yeah, it's just good to have stuff like that. That's nice and it's not corrupted and
Definitely. That's in this time of year, man. It's all about the giving. There's a lot of love in the air and joy and happiness. It's definitely a good season to be in. The spirit of Christmas, I guess, is a positive one. So that's good.
Yes, sir.
Word up. But yeah, let's talk about this record a little bit right there. Prom Night, heavy tune right there. Just dropped that, and we were talking just before we got on air here, just letting me know a little bit about how much Riff Raff has been, on point with the promotion of the record and really pushing it out there. I see, a lot of buzz, from around this song, so that's really good to see, man. Big ups.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped the record yesterday. When I was dropping the record, because I got a mixtape coming out tomorrow called Gift Wrap. And it's basically just, a kind of a recap of like the last 3 years for me. So it's just, my record, my Paperboy record with Royce, I Can't Get Enough record with the Locks, this record with Riff Raff, my record with Waka, called Havana. It's just a bigger body of work. So I decided to drop this record the day before. And then when I sent it to Riff Raff, I hit him up. And he loved it. Like, I guess he hadn't heard the final mix version. We just did it in the studio together in Toronto last time he was here. And he hit me up and he was like, listen, like, I can get this, I can get this bumping on XM radio real fast. I can get it out everywhere. And I mean, he's been pushing it like it's his record. So it's been nice to see the buzz in, the last 12 hours.
Definitely, that's big, man. He's got a large following, so it's huge to be able to have that out there. And I did see that post about getting, gift wrapped out there. It's pretty cool to have, pretty much at this point, that would be almost, what would you say is like a greatest hits right now that you've got compilation from the last little while. It's like all the big jams.
It is in a sense. I feel like I'm way too young to say that I have a greatest hits, or I haven't really had something that resonated as a greatest hit yet. I mean, I've had a lot of solid records and a lot of good records, but no crazy top 40 AC play or nothing like that. But I mean, I guess it depends who you're talking to too, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a recap, and it's all the records that I really like, and me and my DJ really like. So we kind of just put it together like that,
It's dope, man. I like it. I'm looking forward to downloading it and getting a chance to listen to it tomorrow.
Respect, brother.
Word up.
You got a project coming out tomorrow too.
Yes, sir. I'm so stoked about it. It's all beats I jacked from DJ Premier, favorite producer.
There you go.
I've been loving his beats for time now, so had to finally just put out a project that's all on his stuff. But yeah, looking forward to getting that out there into the ears. But yeah, I know a lot of stuff has happened in the past year. It's like a recap on that album, but let's recap a little bit on this past year just for yourself, all the things that have kind of gone by. What would you say are some of the biggest highlights you've had in the past year?
I mean, probably getting with the video company first on the business side, partnering up with Captured. It's kind of opened my eyes, and it's allowed me to do a lot more as an artist as well. Mm-hmm. I know most people wouldn't say that's a huge accomplishment, but for an artist to own a video company that's actually very successful is really good, because it allows me to just do so much more work. Like I think we're gonna drop 2 or 3 more videos before the year's out, like in the next 5 days. So it allows me to do things like that. So for me, Capture would be one. Some of the bigger shows, like all the Wu-Tang shows we did with the whole group. We did joints in Toronto, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Edmonton, that kind of stuff. We just wrapped up the Juicy J tour. I had a lot of success with a few different records. My Havana record with Waka, we shot that in Miami this year, and that came out. That was a real good look. Just a lot of different things. I mean, I guess it's different, but I enjoy being on the road. So, anytime I get to be out on the road and get to be out there with, like, my people, like, all the people I work with are basically family now. So, I enjoy being on the road with everybody.
That's good. That's good. Definitely. I'm sure you've got some plans in the works for next year as far as touring and stuff. What do you got? Anything that you can drop?
Yeah, first, I don't know if we're going to announce the show tomorrow and put it on sale, but I got the last ever hip-hop show in the government complex in Cool House on January 29th. So it'll be the last hip-hop show they ever do before they tear it down.
Wow,
and all those
that'll be big.
Go up. Yeah, so that's a big history moment, too, because there's been so much that's gone over there in the past. I don't even know how long that place has been open, 10, 15 years maybe. So I got the last show there with B.O.B., and it's his first solo show ever in Toronto as well. So I think that's going to be something huge for my company and myself. My company just booked our first big rock show with Leonard Skinner in March next year. I think we got
That's
4
huge.
tours booked for the whole year, and I teamed up with Grammy award-winning, platinum-selling artist, and I got something crazy going on with somebody it'll drop very early in the new year, the project. So just a lot of people really kind of turning and looking out for me, because I've done a lot of things for a lot of people behind the scenes, and it just feels like a lot of people are reciprocating that love and coming back and showing it to me now.
That's big. That's big. Definitely. Well, man, when you provide the opportunities that you do, definitely, I'm sure people look at that and they say, this is somebody that's not just in it for himself. You're in it to help other people. So that makes people more wanting to, I'm sure give you a hand as well.
100%, man. When people see your heart's in something and how much you really care about something, you've been through the same situations. There's nights when you lose. There's nights when you win. And, I mean, when you assume that position, some of those nights are hard. But it's all worth it when it comes back and it starts working for you. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Big time. Well, the hard work pays off big time, and I think you're a living example of that. Everything that you do, I always say it on the show, always one of the hardest working artists in Canada that I think I see out there, like really doing it. And I was just having a conversation with one of the other artists another day just about, they're like, I don't think there's anybody else in Canada that's really, as far as like putting on shows, like artist wise, like a lot of artists get booked, they tour here and there and do their thing, but as far as providing a platform for other artists, I don't think there's really another person in Canada that puts on as many events as what you and your company does.
No, there isn't. I would say that, my company is very dominant right now when it comes to the hip-hop world, with putting on shows, and then myself as well and the artists on my label. I shied away from, I had a full Canadian tour book for myself at the start of the top of the year coming up. And I pushed it back because I got my first baby's due in January, so I pushed it back. But when that comes out, I think we're going to do it. I think the date started at the top of March. But, I mean, even me and you discussed that. But, like, now we're looking at it, and it's looking like, 29 cities on my first solo run. So it's just, it is. It's like, people always say, oh, he's the hardest working, or, the hustle's crazy or something. But I think now it's like I want the artistry to line up with the hustle, which is almost, it's very hard. You look at Jay-Z, some people think he's the best rapper, some people say he's the best businessman. Mm-hmm. But you got to have both, and both got to be on the same level, I think, for it to go where it needs to be. And I mean, I've been, living off music for a long time now, but I want to take it to that level. So when you bring me up, you bring up the body of work, and you bring up the hustle, or you bring up the hustle and the body of work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's my goal for 2015. I'm not trying to do nothing different. I'm not saying it's my year. It's not somebody else's. It's this is that. It's just, I'm playing with myself. I'm on my own field. I'm not really, ever bothered by what other people are doing. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm trying to help as much as possible. So, I don't take anything to heart, and I just keep it moving.
That's good, man. I like that. And I definitely do agree with you. You need to have the artistry there. That was one big lesson I felt that I learned myself this year, being on the road as much as I was. coming back into the studio, I was like, I really got to make sure, you know, that this side of things doesn't get neglected at all. And I don't go too many days without, you know, putting the pen to the pad and then stepping in the booth and laying something down, because, you know, you gotta stay really sharp as far as the artist side of things and not forget, like, that's what's getting you to the dance floor, right?
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's hard because you know it as much as I do now. You're creating your own platforms because the infrastructure in the industry in Canada, it exists, but it's not solid. And it's not, you know, there was no artist that ever came before me that I totally understand what they did, or I saw their blueprint and I followed it. You know, we learn from mistakes and we learn from our own decisions. And, you know, trying to lay that path for somebody else to come up behind you and do the same thing that you did and make it a little bit easier, a little bit more knowledgeable for them to understand, you know, what they actually need to do. And for me, like, that's how I feel. Like, I feel that you can get lost in the business because you have to handle your own. So some days you just get caught up on straight business, when I would way rather be sitting in the studio with 2 or 3 people and just messing around with beats, or, you know, writing or recording or whatever we're in there doing. I would rather be doing that a lot of times, but sometimes you got to handle the business so you can sit in that studio, so you can pay for that studio time, so you can buy that new car, so you can, you know, do all this kind of stuff. And it's the same thing where a lot of people have 9-to-5 jobs and then they rap as a hobby, you know. And at first I always thought that was kind of corny, but then I got it and I understood it, because it's like, rap is my 9-to-5. You know, so I understand that sometimes you have to do something else just in order to make your dream work. Like, I get that now. So I think that opened my eyes up to separating the two of them, you know, and trying to be an artist half the day and trying to be, you know, that business owner the other half of the day. So
if you put the time in, for sure, it's going to pay off. And I think if you get the knowledge and you're working with the right people, and, you know, you've shown this time and time again just by what you do and the moves that you make, that, like, all it takes is sticking to it, keeping your word with people, and just, you know, keeping the momentum going. And as far as shows go, when you're booking, like, once you've opened that door and you've got an artist up here in these cities, that cities, then that lane, that avenue's already been created, and all you got to do is just fill the pipeline with the next person, and make it bigger and better every single time that you do it.
Yeah, I mean, you made it sound really easy, but
but yeah, no,
it can be hell.
It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder, and I'm sure there's a lot of little nuances here and there that, you know, I'm sure your advice could help a lot of people with. One thing that I am curious about, as you do get further along with your career now, and you can kind of look back on the history, reflect, and see all the different things that you've done, and where you've learned from the different mistakes that you made. And as you're saying, you're kind of passing along this information and creating infrastructure for the future generations that are coming into this hip hop industry in Canada, so that they can kind of know and have a good groundwork of how to book shows, how to get artists into the country, how to make this all possible. Are you getting to a point where you think you might release any of this information publicly, either via doing like some vlog episodes where you kind of explain the situation, or maybe possibly putting out a book in the future? Have you had any thought towards those things?
I mean, me and a couple people have joked around about putting out a book, because I've seen a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people would be interested in, good and bad. You know, a lot of stuff is not public knowledge, but is definitely interesting to the hip hop community. And that's me talking in the sense of, you know, behind the scenes stuff, not just business, like, you know, real life. And, I mean, I really do work with a ton of people behind the scenes. A lot of stuff I don't tweet about, talk about. I know other artists might, but sometimes they don't. But like, some of the biggest rappers that have ever come out, Canadian, American, might call me for certain things, for advice, or ask me certain things, and I'm like, yo, like, why are you calling me? Like, you know what I mean? Or there's times when I've sat down, like, my company distributes, I think right now, four different projects are running through the distribution channel of my company right now. And I don't promote all of those as Peter Jackson. Like, you might not even see Peter Jackson push that. But my company is distributing that record, And, you know, take Sazy, for instance. Like Sazy's last album, Your Rapper's Favorite, or Your Rapper's Worst Nightmare. Mm-hmm. Your Favorite Rapper's Worst Nightmare, I'm sorry. 3 came out with us, and I distributed that record for him. So these are things where me and him are, you know, talking. He's about to do a nice little run. He's out there selling his record. He's already got like a ton of stuff going on, so I was super happy to be involved in that project. You know, you toured with another group, Contraband, that I work with on that level, on the Freeway tour that you guys all did. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just all these different things is like, I don't feel like I should even be allowed to eat if I don't help other people eat. You know, like, I don't think that people will be okay with that. So, you know, in my own head, like, I'm always doing that kind of stuff. But I think there's, you know, a more public way to do it, or, you know, to put it out there more. But yeah, like, that's the whole point. Like, I'm going through things so other people I work with don't have to go through them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the whole plan with this stuff is definitely to show what to do and what not to do.
Did you get, when you were on tour with Mobb Deep, did you get a chance to talk to Prodigy at all about his latest release that he did?
The one with Bugs?
Yeah.
We spoke about it a little bit. He got a lot of love for that kid. And I know that kid's real dope, too, actually. But, like, when we spoke about it when we went to the basketball game together, we spoke about it a few times. But more or less, like, I just, you know, picked his brain about certain things, you know, recording stuff and certain records. Like, I grew up, like, when I used to do what I did before rap, I was bagging up to them. Like, that was what we did. Like, that's all we listened to when we were kids. So it's like, you know, for me, sometimes I just sit and soak like a sponge and then leave with all kinds of more stuff, because I love to talk, but when I'm around people like that, I don't talk too much. Mm-hmm. I more or less listen and pay attention and watch what they do right, because they lasted. This was their 20th anniversary tour. So, you know, for me to be talking all the time would have made no sense. You know, so I was listening and learning the whole time we were on that run.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that sentiment 100%. I'll be around some bigger artists sometimes, and people will ask me, they'll just be like, "Why are you so quiet?" And I'm just like, I'm listening, yo. I'm trying to learn right now. I want to understand the inner workings of this person to see how they've gotten to where they're at, because, you know, people need role models in their life. People don't understand the importance of it, you know, of just trusting somebody else who's gone down the same path that you want to head down, and then, you know, being able to apply some of that knowledge for yourself.
1,000%. I used to sit down and watch Busta Rhymes when we were on tour with him. So every night he would perform, we would sit down. And it was hard to sit down and watch him, because he's probably, you know, top 3 performers in hip-hop ever. And the amount of stuff we learned on tour with him, or Naughty by Nature, just like stage presence-wise and crowd control and stuff like that. Like, I mean, obviously I'm not where Bus is by any means yet, but I will be. And watching him is like reading a book firsthand. It's like, you know, some people are better when they see something instead of reading it. So for me, like, things like that, like, you can't pay for that. Like, I can't go to school for that.
No, that's some life experience, some knowledge that you can get right there in person. You got to be there to see it.
Yes, sir.
That's big, man. Well, I appreciate it, bro. You're always dropping knowledge on the show here, and I hope someday, you know, you do that inspiration hits, or enough friends and people in your close circle are just like, yo, man, you need to put this down, or at least get something out where you drop some of this knowledge for other people to soak up, because I think, like you said, people will be interested to read it for sure.
Yeah, man. I think you might have me on another business venture for the new year. So
there you go.
We'll see.
There you go. Inspiration. That's what we like doing. Word up,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Much respects. Keep grinding, doing your thing. Big, you know, wishing you all the success for 2015. I know it's going to be an exciting year for you, and obviously, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, brother. Happy holidays, all that good stuff, and I wish the same to you, so we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good, brother.
Take care, bro.
Peace.